Slide 127, Lesson 7, Volitives, the Cohortive, the Imperative, and the Jussive. Volitives are used to express a command, wish, or desire. So volitives express the will of the speaker. The word volitive comes from the Latin volo, to will, and it is related to the English word volition, meaning the same thing, to will. Hebrew has three volitives. The first one, the imperative, this is the volitive of the second person. For example, listen. This is when you are speaking to somebody else directly and you're telling them, you will listen. It's the second person, listen. The cohortive, this is a volitive of the first person. For example, let me listen, or let us listen. That's the first person volitive, the cohortive. And the third volitive is called the jussive, and this is a volitive of the third person. For example, let him listen. We will look at these in a little more detail in the next few slides. Don't get too bogged down with the following slides. It's really just for your information. Just be aware that Hebrew grammarians have a special classification for everything. And in this case, when you want to express a wish for someone to do something, the verbs have a certain form. And it's not actually that necessary for you to remember all the vowels in these volitives to identify them, since the context should help. At least now you know volitives exist and you can refer to them here if you wish. So let's look at these three volitives on the next three slides. Slide 128, Lesson 7, Volitives, the imperative, a second person volitive, and the imperative is a command. An imperative is basically a command to do something. Thus, it only appears in the second person. The second person is you do such and such. You can usually tell it's an imperative command just from context. So here we have the table for the imperative. This is the Carl version of the imperative. Shemor, you guard. That's to a man. It's a second person masculine singular. Shimri, you guard, to a woman. It's a second person feminine singular. It's just Shemor with a yod at the end. Shimri. Shimru, you guard, to men, to a group of men. Shimru, and that's a second person masculine plural. Again, Shimru is just Shemor with a vav at the end. Shmorna, Shmorna, you guard, to a group of women, and that's a second person feminine plural. So let's have a look at some examples of the imperative. First one, Shmor mitzvatav u mishpatav. Shmor mitzvatav u mishpatav. Keep his commandments and his judgments. Shemor, keep. Mitzvatav, his commandments and his judgments. U mishpatav. Mishpat means judgments. U mishpatav is and his judgments. Sorry, mishpat is judgment. Mishpatav is his judgments. U mishpatav is and his judgments. So Shemor means you will keep or you will guard. And the you is not in this verse, but it's implied because Yahweh is commanding his people. Okay, and it's a second person masculine singular. The next example is a very popular one. This is the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Shema means hear, and it's a weak verb. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And Shema is a second person masculine singular, but it doesn't have the same vowel as hear because it's a weak verb, and we'll look at those in lesson 8. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Okay, the next example. Shaftani, Yahweh. Judge me, O Lord, or Yahweh. Shaftani, judge me. So here's the word judge, and then this suffix has been added afterwards, but the actual command is here. Judge me, O Lord. So that's the second person masculine singular, and it's got a suffix on the end, the ni. Okay, this one. Imri li achihu. Imri li achihu. Say of me, he is my brother. Say of me, or to me, or for me, achihu. My brother is he. Achihu. Imri li achihu. So Imri is the second person feminine singular. This one here. Okay, the next example. Shivru lanu ma'at ochel. Shivru lanu ma'at ochel. Buy us a little food. Shavru, buy. For us. Ma'at ochal, a little food. And the shavru here is the second person masculine plural, this one here. So that's talking to a group of men, or a group of men and women. Second person masculine plural. Shavru, buy to a group of men. Buy us a little food. Okay, the next and last example. Za'akna banot Rabbah. Za'akna banot Rabbah. Well, banot is daughters, and Rabbah is the name of a place. Cry, ye daughters of Rabbah. Za'akna banot Rabbah. So here's the word cry, Za'ak. And who's he talking to? He's talking to a group of women. It's the second person feminine plural. Za'ak na. Okay, so that's the imperative. It's a second person volitive. That is, it's speaking to somebody else directly. So it's the word you implied in it. You do such and such. It's a command. It's a strong word. And when we think of the commandments are this sort of thing, an imperative.